Marcus, Anders, how's your trades going?
Marcus, you said your name first. How's your trade going?
Hey man, you're the guest. Welcome, welcome to the show, Andrew. It's great to have you, man.
Yeah, Marcus and Sean, really happy to be here. Old friends, and it's good to hang out again. So thanks a lot for having me. I really enjoyed to hang out with you in the green room before, now here. How's my trade going? I think you could say that short term, it's probably under a little bit of challenge, but we're pumping right now, so that's good. Long term, there's no doubt that this trade of being all in Bitcoin is going phenomenal, because we're going to $25 million per Bitcoin, and then so forth and so on, and end up at $1 billion by the end of this century.
Anders is a bear. So we're pumping right now. That's why I got my scarf on.
Yes. Oh,
I thought it was cold over there. I thought you were like saving gas.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm in LA. It's beautiful weather all year round. But I'll wear stuff.
Toxic Happy Hour.
Thank you,
Anders and Pubby. This is just an old tradition, and old traditions die hard. Wearing the scarf and the scarf pump.
Yeah. Do you want the story of how that started, or are we good?
Yeah, well, yes. Well, hold on.
This is bringing back memories right here. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the pink scarf. Wow.
It's where it all started for me, and I'm so happy you put on the red balloon in the shot as well.
Right?
Hey.
Oh, you remind me, man. I didn't even think about that. That's what another great story, or memory, shall we say?
Yeah. But, before we get into that, let me just do a little intro, and then we'll get right back into it. So, welcome everybody to Bitcoiner's Guide. This is the show that we wish we would have had when we first started learning about Bitcoin. Made it for you. A little timestamp and price stamp. Today is October 26, 2022, 10:37 a.m. in the Mountain Standard Time. Bitcoin's current price is $20,800 and some change, up 5% in the last 24 hours. So scarf pump is going on right now. Anders and Marcus and me, we got stories for days, and honestly, Marcus and I are super pumped and super happy to have Anders as our guest. We're your hosts, Marcus and Sean, but this is a really special guest to us. Anders, for many of you who may not know, was the first person I ever talked to face-to-face or Zoom or on a Jitsi video call about Bitcoin. And that was probably back in 2020, I think. And that was the first time I'd ever talked to anyone about Bitcoin that was, that actually knew what they were talking about, because my friends and family did not know. So Anders, welcome to Bitcoiner's Guide. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. I mean, hashtag me too, the movement. Pleasure is even more on my side. Really happy to hang out with you two. And we had an amazing time through 2020. And Marcus, I remember the song and the video you made with the blind drummer, that was kind of associated, I think, for everyone on Bitcoin Twitter, with us finally reaching that all-time high of 20,000, and that euphoria going through December of 2020, where we went from 20 to like 29 or something. Good times, nothing but good memories with you guys. Psyched to be here, and looking forward to whatever else is down the pipeline with us.
Oh yeah. I wanted to do a rapid fire question, and this is not John Vallis, but I want to do like 3 rapid fire questions just to jog your memory. First of all, Will Clemente, he used to be called Dr. Bullrun by yourself.
I named him. Yeah.
You named him Dr. What happened to Will Clemente? First of all, what happened to him? I wanted to ask you that.
I mean, what happened? I don't know. I mean, oh God, this is on the record, and not just a confidential.
You don't have to. I don't want to put you in any. You can plead the fifth if you want to.
I mean, I guess.
Truth or dare.
No. I'm a truthful person, and I'm also, I personally find myself to be honest and transparent. you know, I personally don't have any beef with Will, but
yeah.
I do see what, and he was gracious to come on Talk to Capiar several times, and that was fun. And back when a lot of us thought that on-chain analysis was useful for predicting what's going on with the price, which it turned out to not really be. But I guess as a, you know, my guess is as a fairly young kid coming into Bitcoin and also needing to make a living, I guess step by step, he ended up also doing some analysis on other coins and, you know, through his job. And I get it. Like I'm not endorsing anything but Bitcoin, but I understand that the guy wants to make a living and also want to be able to buy some Bitcoin. But I would, of course, never myself start talking about how to play the Ethereum price, anything like that. But so, you know, I got no beef. I think that's what happened. Probably said too much.
Yeah, no, you're good. I think he just got replaced by Dr. Bear, Dr. Jeff Ross. So
okay, see, a much smarter answer, because now I said stuff that might make Will upset with me.
No, Will, whatever, right? He's a big boy. He can take it.
Yeah.
So okay, another rapid fire question. And sorry, Marcus, I didn't even tell you I was going to do this.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm enjoying this.
Peter McCormack said he was going to pay off your credit card debt one time. Did he ever pay off? That. Did he ever pay off your credit card debt? The people want to know, Anders. The people want to know.
So to be honest, I never chased him for that, because it's deliberate, conscious decisions from my side. So why should he pay for me making? I didn't get there by bad luck. I felt it's great to be short dollar and long Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And it allowed me to be a little bit longer Bitcoin because I'm a little bit shorter fiat by having some credit card debt. So no, he didn't pay off, but I think so. Later I met him at Andy Edstrom's house, and I joke with him as like, because I usually feel like people won't remember. Say, hey, do you remember that, you know, Toxic Capiar and like the credit card thing and everything or something? And he said, like, I think he added a little clause like that: when Bitcoin hits $1 million for paying off the credit card. But
I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you when Sean asked this question. I had this thing in my mind too. Wasn't it like when Bitcoin would cross like 100K or something like that?
I think
I would have to watch back the original show.
Hashtag me too. I would also have to rewatch it, and it probably was 100,000. He said back then. But honestly, it's really also an honor thing for me. I don't want to ask. I don't want anyone to pay for me in that sense. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big boy, and I mean, not as big as 7 feet Sean Harris here.
Whoa. Hey, if I was 7 feet, I'd be in the NBA. So
I completely get it, right? So if somebody offers you this, it's like you're not going to chase it, you know. But okay, so what if he comes up to you and says, you know, hey, Anders, we're here at 200K. I wanted to pay off your credit card debt. Will you accept it?
If I'm forced, it's hard to say no to that kind of money, because I have a lot of credit card debt. I really do.
Yeah, but if Bitcoin's at 200K, you're sitting kind of pretty as well. So it's not like it's not like you won't be having fun staying poor if Bitcoin's at 200K.
No, I'll be living the dream. I mean, I feel already now I'm kind of, you know, life ain't perfect, and it is for no one, and we all go through ups and downs. But
what Sean really is asking is, are you willing to sponsor the halving party at that time?
Oh shoot!
Anders is a whale. Actually, well confirmed.
I have a question for you. Are you willing to sponsor the pleb party up to Pacific Bitcoin? Something, you know, if you sponsor us with 2,000 there, we'll sponsor the halving party with 2,000 when that time comes.
Oh,
the halving party sponsors the pleb party at Pacific Bitcoin.
Yes.
I actually like that idea a lot.
So here's the thing. I actually thought about this without money in betweeners.
Yeah.
If you can make some signs or something, I'll have it put up there, and and we'll start pumping the halving party even more.
I'm actually heading down to LA in the next 7 days or so. So
I think we're definitely on to something here, but
I'm
maybe
gonna
not.
meet. I need to meet up with you in person, actually, Anders.
100%. Look, I expect 250 people probably. So it's gonna be I think it's gonna be an awesome halving party. I'm like in final negotiations with a couple of sponsors to just make sure that I'm not gonna be significantly down the hole myself, which I would otherwise be. So, but we're happy to do, something, shout out to and some publicity there to our friends.
We need to, that'd be a really good idea. Honestly, that's a great idea. Let's talk about that offline, because I think that would be really good. Okay. So Peter McCormack never paid you back. Dr. Bull Run got replaced by Dr. Bear. Now, here's what I really want to know. Did Greg Zaj ever pay up on that steak dinner bet? Did he ever pay up on it?
So I told both Greg and Poppy that made terrible predictions, and I won those bets over them.
Can you cover that bet that they made?
Yeah.
Because
the people listening in there, we're hearing all these inside jokes here and have no clue what's going on.
Let me explain it. Okay. So
they better figure out.
So
Bitcoin has history.
Yeah. And there's some memes that people may not understand that happened, early in time. Unfortunately, I wasn't here as early as I wanted to be, but the 2020 pump wasn't my first rodeo, you can say. I was here, in Soul 17. So I made a bet with because as in any bull run, there's euphoria and people think this time is different. It's just gonna go on, just keep going up. And so I made a bet with Greg Sash. Puppy was traveling. Greg Sash was on as my co-host instead, and we were talking about price, and I said, there'll still be corrections, and Greg said, no, there's never again going to be a 50% correction.
Ooh,
so we made. I mean, you can go back and see it. It's on my YouTube channel, right? Yeah. So the bet we ended up making, because it can't just go forever, because we need a time so we can call a winner. So we agreed. So we agreed that until the end of 2022, if Bitcoin at any time was down 50% from its all-time high, I would win. So I basically called there will be a minimum 50% correction by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm. You were right, and you've been right twice actually. That didn't happen once. That happened twice.
Of course, I shall say I have also lost bets. Okay, but unfortunately, the two bets that I have made where I was the bear, I won. The bets I've done when I was bullish, I lost.
That's a lesson, kids. That's a lesson.
Maybe I should be Dr. Bear, but definitely I'm very optimistic, tending to naive maybe sometimes. Anyways. So Poppy comes on the next Toxic Happy Hour, and I'm telling him about this bet I met with Greg, saying of course there's going to be a 50% correction, and Poppy's like, no, there's not going to be a 50% correction. In fact, I challenge you, there's not even going to be a 40% correction. So I said, okay.
Puppy was enamored by Michael Saylor's his rhetoric, right?
Yeah. So he entered that bet, and the bet I have with both of them is that in Tampa, Florida, there's a really old classic gourmet steak restaurant where the food is amazing, the drinks are amazing, the place is amazing. Poppy first told me about that. So Greg is also in Florida. So the bet I made with Greg is, if I win, all you can eat drinks at that steakhouse. But after I won, I told, and it was the same price that I bet with Poppy, but after I won, I mean, it was, I think first Poppy lost, we were 40% down, 2 days later, Greg, he lost. This was in, I think, May 2021. But I told both of them, because it sucks having to pay up bets when the price is down and you feel you don't have as much money. So
Yeah.
I told both of them, look, I'll postpone it. We'll cross $100,000. Once we cross $100,000 per Bitcoin, I want my freaking steak, bitches.
Do you still have the stakes in your Twitter handle?
Nah, I removed. You know what? I thought it was when I started losing my bullish bets to other people that weren't necessarily on Twitter. I felt it would be just virtue signaling bullshit if I say, "Hey, I win these stake bets," but I lost, a stake bet on the side, calling for bullish price. So I thought it wouldn't be fair to call myself such a great bettor when I also lose.
I thought it was funny. I just thought it was good fun.
Yeah.
I'll put them back when we reach 100. When we get close to 100,000.
Put them back. Put those stakes back. Let people know what's up.
Yeah, to remind Greg and Puppy that I want my freaking steak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned there just now, we were all too bullish. I can definitely relate. I literally, like this morning, I couldn't help myself again. It's like Bitcoin went up 5%. We're sitting at like, we went from 19 to 20K. I couldn't help but make a little fun meme, just to celebrate the little pump again. But, who knows? Maybe next week we'll be sitting at 19K or even lower again. Who knows? But yeah, I guess there was a lot of euphoria, especially now in hindsight. It was like maybe we were, and exactly like you said, right at the point where we are. I mean, you won that bet pretty frigging fast. Yeah, it was
faster
like,
than I thought.
In hindsight, it was like literally like peak optimism right there. So I'm really curious because for me, it's still like a whole learning process as well, and I do remember also coming into like Bitcoin Twitter, and you're listening to like guys like Odell and Bitcoin Tina. Anyway, people who were in it like a lot longer than I were. You thinking like, you're learning from these guys, and maybe now people are looking at you and they're learning from you. But in my case, I literally put in my Twitter profile, probably as stupid as you, because we're all learning, right? And Bitcoin is super young in all factors.
Just like you, Plan Marcus. I see the baby face there.
Yeah. So anyway, just curious to see, like, how do you look back on that, and like, have you changed or do you regret anything, or are you going to do anything different in the future, or how do you look at the cycles and like the moods? Like there's definitely those cycles of where you see like you notice this on Twitter as well. The mood is a little bit like more depressed now. During bull runs, it's like peak every. I'm missing like the English words here. Like you get a little bit blinded by optimism, and I guess we're all susceptible to it.
Absolutely. Man, I could talk for 2 hours nonstop answering that question, because there's so many things I think I learned and was surprised.
What would you tell the noob?
Yeah, I'm about what I learned from that. I mean, sure. Let me try and answer the question, and then you can like direct me if you want it differently. But I think the 4 years halving cycle actually kind of is intact, everything else being equal. But the Fed stepped in, raising rates the fastest they've ever done, actually, with these 75 basis points every FOMC meeting, which means they tighten. And if it needs to be easier understood or explained, let me know. But I think we would have hit at least 200,000 in either Q4 of last year or Q1 of this year if it hadn't been for the Fed starting to talk about we need to fight inflation back around the time that Bitcoin peaked at 69,000 November 10, actually, I think it was 2021. So, and that shows something really important, is that Bitcoin does its own thing, but obviously it's not isolated from the rest of the world. And factors so important like the Fed tightening, increasing interest rates, which pushes assets down. And when you have, institutions and traders that have accounts with leverage and they own maybe 5% Bitcoin and 95% stock or whatever, when their stocks start going down, Bitcoin, they will, as Greg Foss, I think, says, you don't sell what you want to sell, you sell what you can sell. And that means Bitcoin will be sold off in that scenario as well, because they don't want to end up having, if they wanted to have a 5% exposure to Bitcoin, stocks start falling, and all of a sudden it's 15%, they will be selling off Bitcoin. Bitcoin is correlated short term, not long term. So I think that was a big learning. Yeah, not get caught up in the euphoria. I think it's difficult though. It's wonderful. I love the pumps. I love the higher price because I'm all in, right? I don't have a lot of fiat income to stack every day, every week. So for me, price low is not good. It's better if it's high. What else did you ask me, or do you want from that question? I don't know if that was.
Can I say something too before Marcus goes? I think.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's interesting too. Like, one of the things that makes you happy about, or at least me, is when Bitcoin's price pumps. Like when it really pumps, it's like, okay, I like all the work that I did leading up to this, I actually did it right, you know? And I think it's less even about, okay, I'm rich or I feel wealthy. It's like, yes, I studied for years. I changed my money from fiat to a hard money, which is the hardest money, which is the only hard money, which is Bitcoin. And I went all in and it worked, and it's going to continue to work. And I think that's one of those euphoric feelings about the price of Bitcoin pumping is it's not just that you are rich or that you can buy a Lambo. It's the fact that you are studying something and you're spending all day long studying it, all year long. You've done it for years, and you're like, okay, I've looked at every single asset that I could possibly put my money into, and Bitcoin looks like the best thing out there. And then when it pumps, it's just like it's like a reaffirmation that what the work that you've put in is correct. And I think that's one of the best things about the pumps, more so even than getting rich, which obviously getting rich or feeling like you're rich, that also it's a great feeling too. But just the fact that you accomplished something and that it was true, that also feels good when everyone has told you that you're putting your money into a Ponzi scheme, that you're putting your money into something that's very dangerous or risky. You know, it just feels really good to prove the haters wrong.
Yeah, actually, absolutely. Actually, I remember also another part of your question, Marcus, if I regret anything. I mean, I did things that maybe weren't optimal, like accumulating this credit card debt. Maybe, I mean, it would have been ideal to pay off some of that when Bitcoin was 65 instead of being stuck with it now. But I have zero regrets. I live my life with zero regrets because whatever I did at that time was what I thought was best. And we all get smart in the future. Hindsight is 2020. You can't live an optimal life in the past because you didn't have that knowledge or understanding, or weren't there at the right time when those things happen. Actually, it's a way that one of my best friends taught me this: never to think about the past in terms of regretting, or I wish I had done differently. Or I also heard that from a motivational speaker. Never to regret anything that went wrong, because anything you can't change, why waste energy on it? If you can't change it and we can't change the past, stop wasting energy on it. Mm-hmm. Also, so this one I'll prescribe to my good friend there. Stop thinking all the time about the future. Great things that you know are going to happen. Don't even think too much about it now, because then you're kind of like taking all the pleasure now, and when it happens, it's already like you've gone through the joys of that. And also, don't fear the future and stress about things that's going to happen, because guess what? We're all still here, and anytime when we came to those challenges, we somehow overcame them. We're here. All problems have a solution. So he taught me very much to be in the moment. And I'm not perfect, but I think I learned a lot from that. So if I have things I'm stressing about, like with the pleb party in 2.5 weeks, I put that aside and say, you know what? I'm right now hanging out with 2 good friends. I'm having a cup of coffee and I'm enjoying this moment. Anything else can wait. So no regrets, Marcus. I'm just appreciated and happy to be witnessing the first time for 4,000 years that one sound money takes over from another. Because last time was gold, which started as coins, being circulated as coins in like the population 700 BC for the first time. This is such an amazing historical event that doesn't even happen once in a millennia. And we are here right now and can buy Bitcoin so cheap compared to where it's going. We are blessed. And if you're not happy about this situation and this opportunity, you are an ungrateful bastard. This is great.
Yeah, it's true.
We're lucky.
I think the biggest thing, right, is a lot of people, and this is what Jeff Booth has alluded to. I don't know. Do you still have that Jeff Booth book on your desk, like always?
Dude,
do you really?
Give me 2 seconds. It's nearby for sure. Give me 2 seconds.
All right. Well, you don't. I didn't want to make him go get it, but okay, I guess
it's true. I love that you bring up Jeff Booth, because Jeff Booth is one of the persons I love so much because he has this positive outlook.
Bro,
you know?
I have
instead
moved
of like
since then,
bashing on.
Can't find it.
You can't find it.
Okay.
I mean, I moved, so it's here somewhere within like 5 square meters. I just don't know where.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marcus.
No, I was just saying, I love that you brought up Jeff Booth, Sean or Anders before. You know, it's Jeff Booth to me is always somebody I love listening to, and I can recommend the most, because it's all easy for us to point at like everything that's rotten right now, and look, this is going to shit, and inflation is high, and gas price going up, and money printing go broke. But Jeff Booth is one of the guys that actually can really articulate, how Bitcoin is a force for positive change to the future. And I love thinking about that. And I wish we had more smart guys like him articulating that more, like if we go onto a Bitcoin standard, this is why and how life will change for the better for everyone. That's something I love thinking about, love imagining, and that's what I really like about Jeff Booth. So thanks for bringing him up.
Yeah. Well, and what I was going to say was that, he a lot of times he talks about, you can't measure the system that you're in, like from the system that you're in. And I think that's what a lot of people do with Bitcoin is when we look at Bitcoin, we measure it in dollars. That's like the first thing that you do. And understandably so, because that's what we've been told to do our whole life, is measure things in fiat, whether dollars or euros, whatever fiat currency you live in, you measure it according to, okay, how much value does it have in dollars? And that's what people only think about. And so if Bitcoin's price is up, then people go, oh, you must be doing great. Oh, and Bitcoin's price goes down. Oh, how the price is down right now. And so it's because they're measuring it. They haven't crossed that Rubicon yet and gone down the rabbit hole of measuring Bitcoin outside of a fiat standard. And it's what's really interesting to me is like 2017, 2018, I started buying in 2019, but I was paying attention since 2017. And when I started buying, Bitcoin was like at $9,000, $10,000. And $20,000 was the all-time high, and it seemed like this mountain to overcome, And even when I remember in December of 2020, when we finally crossed 20,000, it was like, oh, we did it, like it went back over its all-time high. But
here we are again.
Yeah, and now that we're back at 20,000 again, right? And it seems like this bottom, but 69,000 is now the all-time high of Bitcoin. And I don't look at it the same way that I looked at 20,000 when I first started buying, because I still had more of like the fiat eyes, right? And the fiat mindset of, we got to get over this mountain of 20K. And I don't look at 69,000 as this huge mountain to overcome, or that this insurmountable number that we could never reach. And when we reach it, it's just like crazy. to me, it seems like, yeah, of course we're going to pass 69K, that's going to happen. And I think just having more years and more time studying sound money, it totally changes your mindset on how you look at Bitcoin, and you stop measuring it from the fiat system.
Absolutely. And honestly, for new people, which I know is kind of like your target audience, to help new people in this space to understand everything, what a huge advantage for them that we didn't go to 300,000 and crash to 80,000. No, we're here at 20,000. So anyone who's new, have an amazing opportunity to buy Bitcoin now at 20,000 for the long term. Nobody knows what happens next month, but for the long term, this is an insanely attractive price, which I compare to probably in that last bear market when Bitcoin reached down to 3,120, where people were scared. They didn't buy, not many did, but those that did made some of the best purchases ever. I think that's around where we are now. I also just want to say with Jeff Booth, as you mentioned, Marcus, couldn't agree more. He's one of those guys that not only is extremely smart, he's also extremely kind. What a nice guy all round. And he came on Toxic Happy Hour when we were 4 or 5 months old, not many subscribers,
I remember.
Yeah, I mean,
his mom was in the chat. Remember that?
I remember.
Of course. Yeah. And she really enjoyed that show, actually, he told us later, because I guess what we're trying to do with our informal atmosphere, no planned agenda, like it's not a board meeting, we're just hanging out in the pub with our friends. That's the concept of Toxic Happy Hour. So we talk Bitcoin, and then we talk other stuff like you would do when you're in the pub. I think that atmosphere she really liked, because she saw, we know from Jeff, like the real Jeff Booth, like how she knows him as a person. Mm-hmm. He was sitting there drinking Corona. I was having Kentucky apple juice, and Puppy was doing his IPAs probably.
Yeah.
And we just had a great time. And he came on, even though we're just a new podcast. And man, kudos to that guy. He's one of the guys, if not the guy, that I love the most in Bitcoin, honestly.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question around that. I want to circle a little bit back though to what you were saying earlier. You were saying when it comes to price and the Fed started talking about raising rates. Later, they also started raising rates, but just them talking about it, that already had like this massive dampening effect. Basically, they're giving a heads up to the market. I even saw a tweet this week, I think it was the Bank of England or something, saying that we gave the market plenty of time or plenty of warning or something. So don't blame us or whatever. But, to me, yeah, sure, there is a short-term correlation. But at the same time, when I look at the Bitcoin chart just by itself, I see like these clear 3 tops now, and these 3 clear bear markets. And if there's going to be like a 4th one, I mean, it just seems like Bitcoin is doing its thing. And maybe it's just, yeah, it is impacted, but at the same time, it seems to just not care either. If you look at COVID, there was a massive crash there, but it just corrected right back to its old cycle path, if you will. So I don't know if the 4-year halving cycle is just coincidentally also like the Fed 4-year cycle, who knows? But to me, it still seems like, Bitcoin, we're not mature yet, like we're still heavily adopting here. So if you look at Twitter, look at the stack chainers, there's like this growing community of people who just are completely, they get it, like they're not just, all the shitcoining and the gambling aside, but people really understand that Bitcoin is really the only decentralized hard money thing that's not going to get fucked with over time. It's that long-term play. Yeah, nobody knows exactly the route it's going to take, but, we get it. And looking at that, I mean, I think it's pretty incredible because we're here talking about 2020, but like, how is that? If I look at Toxic Happy Hour, you guys had like 30 views when you started, we were hanging out in the chat. And if I look at you guys now, you are like I think like one of the, if not the most popular, most listened to spaces there on Twitter. You just got back from a conference in Charlotte, or is it a conference? Maybe you can talk about that. But
Yeah.
Like how is that
Hodlween?
Hodlween.
Yeah.
I'll cover that. Like let's talk about that.
If you just think that that's like in the space of like 2 years, and you can, to me, that's like a testimony of how the space is growing, and not just opportunity for stacking sets, but also an opportunity to become like part of this community, which is still growing, and it's probably going to keep on growing as time goes by.
Yeah. Man, yeah, absolutely. And I think, oh, first of all, I just want to say, look, Cafe Bitcoin has hosted by Swan has more audience than we do, but otherwise, I think we pretty much are killing it. Honestly, we have.
You guys are
like more. Thank you. More. I mean, more and more of those really smart and well-known Bitcoiners come and hang out for quite a while. Like Max Kaiser hung out for 2 hours last Wednesday, like because he wanted to. And the next day, Hodlween won the Norwegian case against fake Toshi, and he came and hung out with us for 1.5 hours in space. They don't have to, but they choose to because I guess they like it. We do it a little bit different. And I think there's room for all different types. Simply Bitcoin are killing it the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
So we can all look. There's people want their information in many different ways, or enjoys it in different ways. We do it our way, and for us, that's working, and we're happy about that. You guys are doing this. This is working great for you guys, and people are enjoying that. To go back to like who you kind of try and educate here with your podcast, people that are new in this space. And your question earlier, Marcus, like what did I learn? So I definitely think, I mean, a learning for many people, including me, is that new people in this space should listen to that phenomenal meme that Matt Odell has created: stay humble and stack sats.
Yeah.
So if you're a new person, just keep buying Satoshis, which is pieces of a Bitcoin. One Bitcoin contains 100 million Satoshis. Stack those sats and stay humble. Too many people that try and outsmart the market get wrecked and lose their Bitcoin. Either they try and get up, increase faster dollar value by buying shit coins. Focus on Bitcoin. Don't get fancy, and just hold them, because Bitcoin is going 1,000x from here. Zero doubt in my mind, in my lifetime, 1,000x, $20 million as a minimum. Just before you call me a bear, let me just say a minimum in my lifetime. So don't think about getting in and out at the right time. Stack sats, and importantly, educate yourself on what Bitcoin is, because then you'll understand that it is the best money the world has ever seen. Use sources like you guys who are educating on this, different from basic level and up, because once you have the understanding what money is, only then does it make sense that Bitcoin is the best money the world has ever seen. And when the market crashes 70, 75%, like we've experienced now, you don't sell in panic, because you already know Bitcoin has won and is going to 20 million plus. So don't try and like get out at 65 and buy at 30. You don't know what's going to happen short term. Nobody does. Stack sats, stay humble, accumulate as much as possible. We're going to the moon. Don't overthink the short term.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would even say, even if you're experienced in Bitcoin, it's the same play.
Yeah.
You want to stack sats and stay humble. I don't care if you've been in Bitcoin for 10 years, you've been in Bitcoin for 10 days. This is like, that is the strategy, Don't trade the corn, don't short the corn, don't sell the corn, just buy the corn.
For me, one of the things that I will definitely have changed because of this run this year and like what I've gone through is like, you go through phases where first you're learning yourself about Bitcoin, and then the minute you learn all kind of stuff, you want to tell your friends and your family, and then you even learn more, and you get even more excited. You want to tell them even more, and you got to get in on this. And I think my advice moving forward is really going to be, if you have to ask me, is now a good time to buy? Don't buy. Like, just fucking learn first. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, educate yourself until you feel you know what you're doing. And yeah, I don't know. I really feel like I'm still going through like processes of learning too, and like
every
wanting
day.
to shout it from the roofs to, you know, maybe not shout as loud anymore, and just I'll always be that Bitcoin guy. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. We learn every day, all of us, like even people who've been here for a long time, learn every day. So yeah. Well, do you guys want me to just tell you about what happened in Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend?
Yeah.
So Bitcoin Charlotte is a really active, and I would say professional Bitcoin meetup that they also like spend money on making it really good. And Saturday night I attended what I think was the coolest, most through and through worked out, thematic, awesome Bitcoin party that I've ever attended. And this is just from a small meetup group, right? It's in Charlotte. So the concept, what they had this weekend, it's Hodlween, and they're going to do it again next year. Basically, it's you know, combining the theme of Bitcoin and Halloween. It's Hodlween. So Friday night we had a cattleman's feast. So Texas Slim was there, a chef was there. We got to taste all different kinds of meat. You know, full plate with nothing but like 7 different kinds of meat, nothing else. That was. I ate hard. I didn't know I ate hard, but apparently I ate hard, and that's healthy, I guess.
Yeah, heart, liver, those are good organs for you.
Yeah. Then Saturday was the kind of quote unquote like conference. It was like a 1-day combination of speakers and workshops. There was 2 locations, right? BTC Sessions, Guy Swan, Jeff Swan, and other new people to speaking were there because Liz, I think, has a great. There's Liz and Jacob from that are running the Bitcoin Charlotte meetup, and I think Liz really has a great talent for spotting. Here's someone who maybe didn't have a chance to speak before, but I think there's something there. So there were speakers, there was workshops downstairs, cool venue, about 100 people, and then we didn't really like. So Liz and Jacob told us like, yeah, like on the Friday, yeah, tomorrow you guys are the main event, like Toxic Happy Hour. Me and Poppy was like, what are you talking about? Like, we haven't done this in person before. Like, we do it on Twitter Spaces every day for like combined 15 plus hours.
Yeah.
But so like, what are you talking about? But I mean, when you look at the post of the schedule, and it kind of, I guess, made sense what she was saying. So I mean, it was, call it at least the final act. So we went from 3:30 to 4:30. Many of, and I'll get back to that. But
what was the mix like? Like, what was the audience like? Is it like all hardcore Bitcoiners, or
much more noobs than I had thought? It wasn't like going to Miami and like you meet 2,000 people, you know, from Twitter that are all like hardcore long-term Bitcoiners. A lot of new people that, you know, in a workshop got help even to like download an app to buy their first Bitcoin Satoshis. Wow. And then people that have been around along, and of course the speakers all had good experience. So and as you may know, part of Toxic Happy Hour is we don't really have an agenda. We kind of like to wing it. So we're like on the day, like we're like brainstorming, like talking, like it's not prepared, right? We're just talking about, okay, what could we actually do? We got to go on 3:30. What are we going to do about this? First of all, we got to warm up. Why don't we find a nearby watering hole and have a couple of drinks and talk about this, what we're going to do 3:30. So we walk outside this, it was in this old church that is now like an art place for exhibitions and events like this. And as soon as we got outside this church, we see Hodl Tarantula, who's walking up and down the street.
Nice.
I met him before because he was doing a speech as well about off-grid mining, which blew my mind. And I know I will never do that because that's insane. That's hardcore off-grid mining. Like you create your own fuel source, whatever, or energy source. But so we met him. He was on the phone, and we said, "Hey, come with us." And then the three of us went up to the nearest bar. Started off with a lager pint, delicious. Then went to, I think, one of the best Bloody Marys I ever had with lots of horseradish, made by a guy who never made Bloody Marys before. So we're getting the creative juices going and just messing around. Like we're mainly there, just like we do, I think, in our show. We're just there to have a good time. And then we also talk about, okay, we could do this, we could do that. Let's see what we do, because we've never done it in person before. But I think it ended up actually going really well. We know some things we want to change to make it better. It was recorded, so I think next week they'll release all the presentations, etc., on their website. But I think both Poppy and I had like 60 seconds each in our head of something we wanted to say. For me, it was like the introduction, and Poppy also had, but the rest of it was just freestyling. And both Liz and Jacob told us they definitely did not want to go up on stage. So obviously, don't tell me that. I dragged them both up there. Like first Liz, and she's like, "Oh no!" And but we take care of people. We have banter. We joke, we joke with each other, but also make them feel good and give them a good time. So Jacob was standing down there laughing because we had pulled his sister up. So of course I bring Jacob up as well. Guy Swan was up there as well, and then interaction with people in the room. So we really had a blast, and it's definitely something we want to perfect, if you can say that, or at least improve and do more of, because it was really, really fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun, and just a good experience to go from spaces and then to do it in real life is even more fun.
And what I hear from like noobs coming to like meetups and stuff, there's been some really good meetups I've been to in Amsterdam. It's like, it's a very effective way to orange pill and just to see that it's not just a bunch of laser-eyed weirdos on Twitter, like talking crazy stuff, but it's actually normal people you can reach out to. I think it's awesome, and I think it's cool to see like all these new meetups still popping up everywhere, growing up in popularity and in numbers. So yeah, bullish.
Anders, we have 3 final questions for you before you go.
Can I just I say that? Wait, I just gotta reject that phone call. That was Puppy actually. but I'll call it back.
Hookers.
Yeah.
Bing bong.
So I just want to. So 2 things. I want to say something real quick before the questions, and then I want to make a public service announcement about you guys before we end. But first of all, so Hodlween, like they gave us, which is Bitcoin Charlotte, gave us great feedback. Liz took a chance on us, and I the whole time I'm like, how can you say you want us to come and do something at your event? You don't know if we can pull it off. Like you don't know much about Toxic Happy Hour, but she felt from talking with us and and sort of like the energy or that it would be useful. So that she helped us a lot by taking that chance. But what I gave them as feedback is, guys, you throw the best parties in this space that I have seen. Of course, I haven't been to the halving party yet, but I bet both will be amazing, to be honest. So I told him, like, you can even, like, you should maybe sometimes throw parties where it's like Bitcoiners getting together and have amazing parties. And that in itself absolutely can be carried as an event. So they're probably doing a holiday party for Christmas and, Halloween, Hodlween, absolutely next year. So, yeah, I think that's it. Let's do the 3 questions. And then for the sake of your listeners, I think they need to know who they're dealing with here. So I'll tell him that in the end, so you don't cut me off before the 3 questions. Let's go.
Wait. Who are we dealing with? Who are we dealing with?
You and Marcus. Now I gotta tell your audience who you really are. You know, Big Sean. Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. First of the 3 questions. What did you read or listen to that made you finally swallow the orange pill?
Easy. So in 2011,
Ooh.
no. I think most Bitcoiners have like the first time. No, I wish.
Well confirmed.
No,
Well,
no. Listen, let me finish. I think all Bitcoiners have this experience. Like they hear about Bitcoin, they reject it, they come back later.
Yeah.
Same thing, unfortunately, happened for me, because if I had paid attention and not rejected it, I could have been buying Bitcoin for $2. Unfortunately, I didn't. I would love to be a whale. I'd love to be a dolphin, a shark, or a fish, or squid. But here I am at shrimp status. So in 2016, at the time I was alone in Dubai. I had a lot of time in my hand. And the one thing that I'm an economist, I spent 5 years in university studying economy. One thing I had in my mind was, wait, in the 60s, the world was doing great. We had families where you had one income, they were happy, they had a car, they had a house, they could go on holidays. And every year GDP has grown per capita. But now everyone feels like they're in the rat race, they're on the treadmill constantly. People are from paycheck to paycheck, like a lot of people, not just 20%, like 80, 90%. It's tough out there. So that bothered me. I'm like, something is wrong. And so I was kind of researching on that, reading about central banking Rothschild, starting back in Europe, and the Fed. And so I came across a 5.5-minute video in my research, and like, I felt central banking is the problem. I don't understand how. So that's why I was looking into it. And I came across this short video, and unfortunately, I can't find it again because I can't remember the name of the guy, back in 2016. And in that video, he was explaining how the fake money is the problem, the fiat currency that's constantly being diluted. And he said, gold and Bitcoin is the answer to that, because that's sound money. And I'm like, what? And then I remembered I heard about Bitcoin before. And by the way, the reason I rejected it in 2011 was because that he used the word miners. Like, miners had become a name, or like what you call the computers that are doing the hashing rate, that are securing the network and putting in the transactions. Mm-hmm. When I heard the word miner in 2011, I thought, oh, this is Farmville money. It's
video game.
It's video game money. There's a miner, like Farmville, you have farmers, and then you have someone digging for stone, and like, oh, okay, it's a video game money. Unfortunately, magic internet money. But so I saw that, and it was like, man, I heard about this. Now I understand what it is. It's better money. Next video I see, the next video I see is the Andreas Antonopoulos video from, I think that he made that in September 17, where he's got that blue background. That I think the video is like, I don't know, 37 minutes long or something, as I recall. I'm autistic, of course, here with like remembering different things. That was one of the best orange pilling videos ever, Andreas Antonopoulos. Of course, I don't like him or endorse him today, because he's gone the shitcoin route, writing a book about Ethereum and how it works, mastering Ethereum, which he's smart enough to know is a shitcoin. Yeah, I'm done. That's it. Unfollow everything. Not that he cares about me, but so that was those 2 videos. That's all I needed to understand. This is the answer to the problem I've been trying to understand for like half a year. And from then on, I consumed Bitcoin content probably 8 hours a day for like, I don't know, a year or something. Yes. Like, I was immediately down there. Like, that first video, that was always like, I got to get some Bitcoin. Now I get it. Like, that was that, when he mentioned Bitcoin, like, it just clicked for me. So yeah, that's what orange pilled me.
Dang. Yeah. And once you go down that rabbit hole, it's like when you're in there, your mind does not stop thinking about Bitcoin. It's crazy.
8 hours a day for a year, folks.
And then after that, like once I realized nothing that I listen to can make me go all in because I don't have more money. Unfortunately, at the time, I was really struggling financially, so I couldn't buy already in 16. It wasn't until late in 17, but I was on it because I knew this was interesting and the solution to the problem. So yeah, wish I had more, but yeah,
that's how it goes. We all wish we had more.
Yeah.
So second question, how do you see hyper Bitcoinization playing out?
First of all, I will say people that talk about we need merchant adoption or that is crucial for Bitcoin to succeed and take over its money out of the world, don't worry, that's going to come later. Unit of account is also not, it's not practical now. It's only going to happen when Bitcoin has taken over as the dominant money. How I see it play out is, Bitcoin is going to continue to have its bull markets, its bear markets. And once I think we're reaching like $4 million, $5 million per Bitcoin, then Bitcoin will be such a big part of global money. And when I say money, I'm talking about the fiat currencies that are not really money, because money can store value and fiat currencies cannot. But by that time, it will be so big compared to dollars and euro and yen, yuan, etc., that I think that will trigger that global consciousness about, wait, this is happening. This is better money. It's become the biggest. It's bigger than the dollar. And I think that will create that S curve, like really, getting steep. And then we'll end up all using Bitcoin only. I think the dollar is going to die. Absolutely. I don't know if it's in 5 years or in 10 years, but so Bitcoin will take over as money. And once it's taken over as money, it will also become the unit of account. But it's not going to become the medium of exchange for anyone else than the Bitcoiners that reach financial freedom, don't have fiat income. So if all you have is Bitcoin and you're going to live off your Bitcoin, you might as well use it as the merchant instead of selling it on an exchange and use the dollar, right? So, and once it happens, then, you have this much GDP in the world, you have this much Bitcoin, but GDP will grow as it always has. In fact, it will grow faster because we don't have this misallocation of capital that we have today when you have a socialist committee, communist style committee deciding the price of the most important commodity in the world, which is money. The interest rate is the price of that commodity. That creates misallocation. So once Bitcoin the soundest money we've ever seen, the only one we've ever seen that is 100% hard capped, then productivity will increase dramatically, in my opinion. Like I know I talk a lot, but I have a lot of things I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
So as long as it's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
From 1873 to 1892, a 20-year period, when US did not have internet, did not have electricity to the same extent, did not have all these things we have today that can help increase productivity. That period, that 20 years, productivity grew with almost factor 3 in just 20 years. So
but what did we have during that period?
Gold was money.
A hard money.
We had hard money. We had sound money, but gold cannot increase in value because it can denominate it in fiat, but real purchasing power of gold is the same over time because as it increases, we'll just dig more out of the ground.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with Bitcoin. So now I think your question was something about how does hyper Bitcoinization take place. So I think it's going to happen at the time where it reaches 3-4 million, and then we'll all end up. No one will accept dollars as salary. Supermarkets won't sell their groceries for dollars. It will be like Bitcoin will just be the only money that people will deal in. So we don't need to convince everyone because they will be on a Bitcoin standard regardless 10-15 years from now.
That's going to be an amazing thing to see, right? When like a Walmart or Amazon comes out and they say, we no longer accept the dollar. we only accept Bitcoin. Like that's gonna be one of those things. Like, yeah, it's here. The thing that we've been talking about for years is finally here.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay, last question. So we say Bitcoin there's going to be hyper Bitcoinization. We're all orange pilled. We all know Bitcoin's going to 20 million plus. But what if it isn't? And here's the question. What do you see as the biggest threat to Bitcoin?
Okay, so first of all, as Elon Musk has said, we all live in a simulation, and I happen to know the programmer that created this simulation that we're all living in, and I bought the version for all of us that does take us to 20 million. So there is,
all right, good. So like, that does happen.
Stop questions like that, Sean, please. No, yeah. So don't worry, we got this. No, but
you gotta be rational, right? We all believe that this is gonna happen.
I'll be serious.
There has to be an off chance, right? There has to be some 0.001% chance that this doesn't work.
Of course.
That Bitcoin fails. So what
comes to mind? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the threat? What do you see as Bitcoin's biggest threat?
Yeah. So on a serious note, I agree with you that nothing is 100% certain in anything. Mm-hmm. The same with Bitcoin. However, I think we are really, really close to 100%.
Yeah.
I have now spent 6 years trying to see what the threats to Bitcoin are. And one of my biggest concerns initially was government will stop it or can stop it. But then I realized they can't. And that WikiLeaks already have proven that in 2010. So that was out of the question.
Explain. What do you mean? WikiLeaks 2010.
So yeah, good question. WikiLeaks exposed war crimes from United States and other warfaring nations. They exposed war crimes, things that the United States government did not want to come out in public because there was some very not fair play, innocent deaths, etc. I don't know the details. So the most powerful organization in the world, the combination of US government and US military, I mean, that's the most powerful, right? You can't even compare that to anything else. They wanted to stop Bitcoin. They wanted to stop WikiLeaks from being funded to expose these war crimes. So they told all the credit card companies, you can't work with WikiLeaks or we'll just shut your business down. They told the international bank settlement system, the SWIFT, you can't work with WikiLeaks, we'll shut you down. So the most powerful organization tried to kill WikiLeaks, but WikiLeaks could receive Bitcoin and did receive Bitcoin and received 50,000 Bitcoin to continue their funding. And I believe that was 210, might have been 11. I think it was 210. And thereby they actually proved that when even the most powerful government wants to stop Bitcoin, Honey Badger don't care, and Bitcoin will continue. TikTok next block, no one can stop it. So honestly, I know we could list different things as potential threats, but because I'm all in, I have skin in the game. I've gone through all of those and done research and listened to the smart people, the programmers, etc. And I don't see any credible threat. So, I mean, to me, it's like 99.9 and then some % chance that Bitcoin will succeed and reach 20 million. It's a matter of time. The Bitcoin price is a reflection of how many of 8 billion people understand that Bitcoin has already won and is going to 20 million plus. It's just a reflection of.
Let me throw this last one out there, Sean. I know we're on a tight time schedule here. What if we had a guest on last week? What if can Bitcoin grow too fast?
You're asking me if Bitcoin can grow too fast.
Would that be dangerous for Bitcoin?
I don't see how that would be a problem. How would that be a problem?
Suppose Bitcoin would have gone to 500K a year or whatever ago.
I don't.
And we've seen how, you know, what we call the wider audience who've not yet really, you know, opened their eyes towards Bitcoin, how they react to governments, and they still trust governments fairly much, actually very much. So imagine Bitcoin going to 500K, a million really fast, and the governments are saying, all right, guys, this is now a threat to, it's destabilizing. Bitcoin is the cause of inflation. It's all this bad stuff. It's also very bad for the environment. It's time that we ban it and we stick a halt to it before it gets out of hand. And, you know, we have 70% of the population agreeing with this. Could that be an issue?
I mean, I think the government already tried, like WikiLeaks being the first such example, and there has been a lot of mouthing about Bitcoin, both from central bank, you know, Jamie Dimon calling it a Ponzi and all this. They've tried, but they can't stop it. So I don't think that, you know, because they already know, they're not that stupid. They already know and have known for a while this, you know, the people that are really in power, the guys that own the central bank, they know it's a problem. They've tried what they could. All they can do now is delay it by flooding Bitcoin, creating fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But I don't think they can stop it. And if we go to 500,000, you know, quickly, that will be a marketing. I mean, that pulls in a lot of people because everybody loves number go up. So I don't think they have any weapons that, yes, to some extent, they will keep some people away, but it will still draw in new people. Anyone that's an orange pill Bitcoin has been down the rabbit hole will not sell the Bitcoin because the government is bad mouthing it more than it's already doing. So I don't see that as a problem at all. I mean, it would be positive. I think more people would run into Bitcoin.
All right. Ultra bullish.
Yes.
Oh, all the way.
No, Anders is a bear. Okay, Anders. Hey, thank you for coming on today. We know you got to hop to some Toxic Happy Hour spaces. Give people a handoff on where they can find you, reach you, what you have going on, what you're building. Let everyone know.
Right. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. I love you guys. We got to know each other in 2020, and it's been a blast, that journey. And you guys are hilarious with your memes and everything. So they can find me. People can find me on Twitter with what it says right there, @Anders_. It's not Andres. I'm not Spanish, I'm Danish, so it's spelled this way, Anders, E before the R. So I'm doing a lot of Toxic Happy Hour and really laying into that now and stepping on the pedal with that even more so with Poppy, and we learned this weekend that this can actually be really funny to do, not only for us but also for the audience when we do it in person. So that's super exciting. I mean, that's just a few days since I learned that, right? So we do it every day, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Go for 2.5, sometimes 3 hours. Great people stop by, like yourselves, both of you, and join in that informal conversation. Oh, so I have the Pleb Party coming up, Toxic Happy Hour Pleb Party at the Pacific Bitcoin Conference. I don't know if this show is going to come out before that. You'll find that a link to that on my profile. Right now it's the pinned tweet. Otherwise, it's meetup.com/BitcoinLA. And there I'm doing everything I can to keep it free, but an awesome party. So I'm doing what I can now to scrounge some funds from sponsors to make this happen, because that's really what I want to do. What else am I working on? Well, tonight I have a meetup with Bitcoin meetup where Andy Edstrom is coming out. So that's going to be too late, of course, for this to be shown. So I have that meetup. I both use it for the Pleb Party. I started in 2017, and I use it to do like regular meetups, just hanging out, having a drink together, spend time with Bitcoiners. I'm probably doing more stuff. I can't remember it on top of my head.
You're also a very good DJ. You've proven on
Yes.
on Spaces. I like that little mix up you do, and yeah, you've been at it for a long time, man. And I know you've also done a lot of in-person meetups, like in LA, back in Europe, you know, where you just invite friends or family or business people to watch your Bitcoin presentations. Just yeah. So from me to you, big thank you for everything you do for the space as well, man. Keep it going.
Thank you. I really appreciate this, guys.
Yeah.
And so if we're otherwise done, I think it's time to reveal to your audience some facts that they should know about you.
Okay,
and you already figured it out, Sean, because I said it before. Guys, ladies, Sean Harris, Big Sean Harris, is actually the incarnation of the Notorious B.I.G. He was born the same day that he was shot in LA. So there you have it, a rap legend sitting amongst us. An honor, sir. With Plan Marcus, I'll tell you what, there's a reason that he doesn't show his face. Just like Plan B and Rational Root. You can all hear it's the Dutch accent on all of them. Here's the thing you didn't know. It's the same guy.
Same guy.
Plan Marcus is Plan B. I mean, just say Plan B, Plan Marcus. I mean, it's too close. You should have chosen something different than Plan B.
I've never seen Plan Marcus and Plan B in the same room.
Right? And Rational Root, right? As Plan B kind of got when you really got hammered for you know that model.
I don't know if that's a compliment, Anders, man. Comparing me to Plan B.
He's just telling facts. He's just telling facts, Marcus.
It's not opinions. This is just facts. I think your audience need to know who they're dealing with. I mean, you got like more than 1 million followers and a lot of shill revenue on that other account. And then as Plan B was kind of being pushed out, as Plan B
I gotta eat.
Oh, gotta eat. As Plan B was kind of pushed to the side, Rational Root came in. Same Dutch accent, doing amazing job on that new account, Plan Marcus. You are truly a master of disguise.
Only a Dane would know. Only someone who's Danish would know the true Dutch accent, right? They would know.
I thought it was obvious for everyone, but yeah, they're. I mean, you can't hide it. I hope you have no problem with me.
Okay, well, thank you, Anders. For everyone listening in, go to the Pleb Party. If you're going to the Pacific Bitcoin Conference, go to the Pleb Party by Toxic Happy Hour, as well as don't forget Toxic Happy Hour Spaces Monday through Friday every week. Listen in with Anders and Pubby. They go live Monday through Friday. That's at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And as for everybody else, don't forget that we have the Meme Factory podcast this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We run those live with everyone else in the Meme Factory. And remember, what you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, don't just let it stay here. If you learned something, you were entertained, you had a good time listening in, like, subscribe, give us a follow, give us a comment, give us a shout out, let your friends know that the Bitcoiners Guide is here. As for Bitcoiners Guide, episode 36 from Anders, Plan Marcus, and Big Sean. We're over and out. Peace.
Last thing. People got to go to the halving party in El Salvador 2024. That's important. All right, and goodbye.
Go to the halving party, everyone. Make sure you're there. Let's go.
You're not having fun. You're not doing it right.
Yes.